NFL legends been having to say what some NFL media, what do they have to say about Shedeur Sanders being QB1 and in the quarterback battle as it stands right now? Also, speaking back about the Browns media with a positive take on Deion Sanders beating Todd Monken. I think that was interesting. Again, not enough for full video. I don't want to be dragging it. Again, G. Bush did what he did. But I thought that was interesting. Some positivity in the summer of positivity from Tings. And then Quinshon Judkins, while people trying to make this about the quarterback competition, there's not much of a competition in OTAs. Like there's just not really much you can compete on in OTAs. But one of the more big things that you're going to see is Quinshon Judkins and how healthy he looks. So we're going to talk just a little bit about that. I just want to talk about him as a player, what I like about him, and kind of how I think that the running back room in total is underrated for the Browns. I talked about that in one of my other videos in the OTAs.
The NFL just reacted to Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson, and nobody is staying quiet about it. While Cleveland is dividing itself in half, the rest of the league has already made up its mind. Rich Eisen is talking. Browns legends are talking. And Shedeur himself? He posted something on Instagram that stopped the entire football world cold. Meanwhile, 100 miles away in East Rutherford, the New York Giants walked into OTAs and walked into a nightmare. One that nobody saw coming, and everyone is now struggling to explain. Two franchises, two completely different stories. 1 week in May 2026 that changed everything. Stop and think about what we're actually watching here. Deshaun Watson, a man the Browns paid $230 million to, is now fighting a fifth-round rookie for the same starting job. That sentence alone should tell you everything about how strange this NFL offseason has gotten. Bleacher Report, Shedeur Sanders took over starting quarterback duties in Week 12 of the 2025 season. After 2 more starts, he was named the starter for the remainder of that season. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson stayed on the physically unable to perform list the entire time, even after the team opened his 21-day practice window in December. AOL. So going into 2026, you'd think the job was Shedeur's to lose. And yet here we are. Browns GM Andrew Berry, speaking at the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine, left the door wide open for Watson to compete, saying, "We don't have to make that decision anytime soon. Any player that we have in that room, we would expect to compete to earn a role. Those two would be no different." That statement was careful, diplomatic, but it cracked the door open. And once you crack that door for a veteran like Watson, the narrative shifts fast. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that Watson had been a factor already on the practice field, with an offensive concept under new head coach Todd Monken that includes elements Watson has run before a departure from what Kevin Stefanski was running. Bleacher Report, think about what that means. The Browns didn't just hire a new head coach, they hired a system that may actually fit the quarterback they've been trying to move on from. Whether that was intentional or accidental, nobody's saying, but it matters. Berry was also clear about what he needs from Shedeur. The biggest thing we want to see from Shedeur is just continued growth. Playing more efficiently, not putting the ball in harm's way as much, that would be important. AOL. And that's the real tension. Shedeur went 3-4 as a starter. He had moments, genuine flashes of brilliance that made the entire league lean forward. But he also had a QBR of 18.9, 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Those numbers don't win a quarterback competition. So heading into May 2026, the question wasn't just who starts Week 1. It was whether Shedeur Sanders had done enough to even be in the conversation. Here's what makes this story bigger than Cleveland. The rest of the NFL is watching this competition with genuine fascination, and unlike Browns beat reporters who've been living in the trenches of this drama all year, the outside world has a much cleaner read on the situation.
If the Browns win, this guy's going to be like, "Hey, I know none of y'all really wanted me here.
Yeah, right.
Y'all had other ideas, and Shedeur's definitely the fan favorite."
Yeah.
I mean, if Browns fans could have their druthers and say one is going to be the quarterback of your future because he's that good, they'd choose Shedeur Sanders in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was answering a question about Deshaun Watson and then transitioned himself to Shedeur Sanders.
Rich Eisen reacted live on air this week to Todd Monken's press conference answers, calling Monken's handling of the quarterback question genuinely entertaining television, because Monken was dancing around it with the precision of a man who knew exactly what he was doing. And Eisen's read, "If the Browns win, Monken's going to be the guy who looked past the fan favorite and got results. If they don't, it's going to be remembered as the moment Cleveland chose the wrong man again." Browns legend Hanford Dixon was even less filtered. On his podcast, Dixon said flat out, "Shedeur doesn't want to sit behind anybody. And that's not a criticism, that's respect."
Shedeur don't want to sit behind nobody.
Everybody want him to crash out because of this shit.
Crash out?
If he crash out, that's what they want him
What
to
do
do.
you mean crash out?
What you mean that crash
Well,
out?
he's gonna crash out second year, crash out. You gotta play. Either you can play or you can't. Now, can you play? This is second year now. Either you can play or you can't. If you can't play, I'm gonna put you in the same class as Dylan. You got to get out of here. So how long has Deshaun been here?
What, 4 years? 5 years?
What has he done in 4 years?
He got hurt.
He got hurt 2 years. So how many chances do we have to give him, dog, to know that he ain't dancing? But since it's about the money, if we gave Dylan, say we gave Dylan, what you say is about the money? So I'm asking a question.
Dixon framed the entire competition the way old-school football minds see it. Either you can play or you can't. And this is year 2. The moment where Shedeur has to prove it's not just about potential. Dixon's point cut through all the noise in a way that hours of media analysis hadn't managed to. The Browns gave Deshaun Watson 4 years and a mountain of money. What did that produce? Injuries, broken promises, and a fan base that spent an entire season watching a rookie fifth-rounder outshine the guy they'd mortgaged their future on. So when Dixon said Watson had been given chance after chance, you could feel how much weight was behind those words. Skip Bayless celebrated Sanders finally getting the freedom to throw downfield. They finally let under-center Shedeur throw an actual forward pass. Touchdown. Pro Football Network. That energy doesn't come from nowhere. And it doesn't disappear just because OTAs started, and Watson is getting more first-team reps. Here's where things got quietly interesting this week. Browns beat reporter Mary Kay Cabot, who had reported back in April that Watson emerged from voluntary minicamp with an edge over Shedeur Sanders and has the inside track to be named QB1, recently started singing a different tune. It seems to me like there's a soft launch, and it's completely different than what happened a few weeks ago, Cabot said on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Cabot later reported from OTA practice that Watson did get more reps with the starters in certain periods. But when it came to an important 11-on-11 period later in practice, Shedeur got a really nice choice drill. I thought that was a good sign for Shedeur in the competition, Cabot said. Monken himself has been careful with his words. Shedeur's come miles in terms of his progressions, getting the ball out, his understanding of concepts. He's really come a long way. And on Watson, Deshaun's athleticism shows up. It's a weapon for him, one of his superpowers. Brown zone, he's praising both. Building nobody up, tearing nobody down. Classic head coach in a competition he doesn't want to resolve on a Wednesday in May. Monken said clearly, "We'll have it set for Jacksonville," meaning the September 13th opener against the Jaguars is the real deadline, not anything happening this spring. But while all of this was playing out publicly, Shedeur was handling it differently. He posted a message on Instagram that stopped people mid-scroll. Think about a person's opinion. In the grand scheme of life, it means nothing. We often give opinions power when we react to them and make them valuable. Now let's talk about the Giants. Because this is where the week got genuinely dark. Heading into OTAs, the Giants already knew their number 1 wide receiver Malik Nabers was not expected to practice until at least late in training camp. Still in the middle of a grueling recovery from a torn ACL, Nabers had gone down on September 28, 2025. A devastating torn ACL suffered in the second quarter against the Los Angeles Chargers at MetLife Stadium, carted off the field while clutching his right knee. The Giants won that game. It didn't matter. Their best offensive weapon was done for the year, and now it's May 2026, and he's still not ready. Head coach John Harbaugh spoke about it directly on May 21st after the Giants' third OTA practice. The first open to media. He's in the middle of rehab. It's such a hard thing. It's an ACL and whatever else he had in that knee. Not a simple knee. He's in the slog of it, the grind of it, I would say. Not a simple knee. Those words landed heavy. Then, as if that wasn't enough, the other shoe dropped. At that same May 21st practice, defensive lineman Roy Robertson-Harris left practice with an injury and did not return. Reports confirmed it as a torn Achilles, a brutal, career-threatening injury suffered during OTAs, not even a real game. He's expected to miss the entire 2026 season. Think about what that means for a guy's life. You work all off-season to get healthy, to get ready, to show what you can do under a new coaching staff. And then in a non-contact practice in May, your season and potentially your career trajectory changes forever. The MetLife turf conversation has been building for years. It's time for the Giants to pay up and get rid of this turf at MetLife. They've tried everything, changed turfs to find more forgiving versions, but in the end, it's the same results. Too many plant leg and non-contact injuries for New York and opponents who play there. So here's where we land. The Browns have a quarterback competition that the entire NFL is watching, not just Cleveland. And the interesting thing is, outside of the Browns bubble, most people have already chosen a side. They like Shedeur. They want to see what he becomes. That doesn't hand him the starting job. Todd Monken doesn't care about public opinion when he's drawing up play calls. But it matters for what this franchise represents right now. Monken himself said he's all for a clean slate when it comes to Watson, and that he finds it really cool that Watson wants to battle and change the narrative. A clean slate is fine, but Shedeur didn't need a clean slate. He needed a fair shot. And from what we saw this week in OTAs, he's still getting one. The Giants, meanwhile, are in a harder spot. New head coach John Harbaugh came in with real credibility, real energy, and a genuine plan to rebuild this thing. Arvell Reese, the 5th overall pick, looks every bit the athlete you'd expect at that spot. There's talent here. There's reason for optimism. But when your best offensive weapon is still grinding through an ACL rehab in late May, and you lose a defensive lineman to an Achilles tear at practice, optimism only carries you so far. 2 franchises. 2 completely different summers. One question worth sitting with. If you're a fan of good football, which team's story are you more nervous about heading into September? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you're not subscribed yet, you're missing these breakdowns every single week. Hit that subscribe button.